Hello, welcome to your shipper update. I'm Mike Vincent. He's Anthony Smith, our lead economist. He's got charts, numbers, and a sunny disposition. So lay it on us, brother.
Last shipper update, we're talking about expectations because just a few moments ago, we got an update for the job openings report, and this is always risky to try to make a call on air.
Were you right?
And so we did see a decline here, so we did see the peak. So it happens every once in a while. So we saw this move down to, I think it's 10.4 million, so still very much elevated.
Skirted that 11.
Yeah, so we're not at that 11. As I don't want to say it's good news that there's not that many jobs, but it gets concerning at a certain level when you start to see so many openings.
I think it is good news right now, right? Yeah. Because nobody's looking for them.
Yeah, and you want more people, those jobs to be filled. So you want some equilibrium there. You don't want too many openings. You don't want too many people looking for work.
Right.
And so we saw this move down, so it's now going to be at 10.4 million. Good news there. So more people kind of getting in those positions. In our next chart, we were looking at industries and different segments. So we did see that there was still continued growth for job openings. I think it moved up 5% for manufacturing. So I have to jump into these numbers. So I think this stayed a little bit sideways. I think this was also a little bit sideways for transportation and warehousing. So we're going to have to dive in, take a little bit more time to dissect this report to see what it's going to mean for these industry breakdowns, but still elevated here as well.
So that's an important concept. So what are you going to be looking for when you go into that? I know I'm taking you away from your flow here because this is off the top of my head, but to see it come down a little bit is cool. Yeah. But then the sectors mean something.
The sectors are going to mean something for sure, and that's a great point there. So the thing I'm going to be looking for, and always when I'm looking at industrial trends or manufacturing trends, retail trends, all these different trends, I'm looking at just that, the trend. And so I'm going to be looking at the rate of growth. Is this rate of growth accelerating, or is it declining? Is it slowing down? Is it growing at a slower pace? And so when I'm looking at these job openings, when I'm looking at these different sectors, is it growing at an increasing rate? Because our expectation time and time again in 2022 is that there's going to be growth in the economy and on the macro level. Of course, some subsectors are going to get hit harder than others, but when we're looking at it, there's going to be continued growth just at a slower rate. It's not going to be at that hyperdrive trend, just slow down a bit. You're still going to be busy. You're still going to be occupied. You're still going to be running around like crazy. But looking at this trend, looking at all the trends, we're expecting continued growth, but just at a slower trend overall.
Right, and which sectors go up and down mean different things. Different. Manufacturing is a very important sector.
Yeah.
And maybe another sector that's not quite indicative of a strong economy, but it's good news that it went down or up.
Exactly. So that's what we're going to be watching very closely here. In our next chart, the thing that I'm going to be watching for the end of the week.
Oh yeah.
Big one here. I'm going to have a chance, I think, to chat with Andrew Cox a little bit later on. Maybe we'll talk about expectations around here. But now because we're talking about consumer conditions, we're talking about job openings, we're talking about available labor, we're talking about quit rates, we're talking about all these different factors here. All this is going to really kind of factor into what's going to happen with retail sales. This is going to go into consumer stamina. What's going to happen here.
The orange here is retail sales?
The orange here is retail sales here, and in the blue line here we have our van outbound volume index here, so our VOVI. I don't know if anyone's ever called it that.
Vote V.
Vote V. But when we're looking at it, of course, it's going to show the volumes of dry van volume throughout the country, of course.
Yeah.
But as that continues to kind of stay elevated, I know we're talking about this dip here, but it's continuing to stay elevated. It's at a higher trough.
Yeah.
You're also expecting this elevation here for retail sales. But the thing is, even if we start to see some downward movement with retail sales, some downward movement with production, that blue line is going to remain elevated just because there is so much backlog, so much to work through right now, and that's going to be a big key here.
Yeah, and it's got to drop a lot to make it back to 2019 numbers.
Yeah, exactly.
A lot.
It has to be a significant drop off. And so
significant drop.
I think with this trend here, with many other trends, even as we see downward movement, there's a new baseline that's been hit, and that new baseline is going to be significantly higher than what we've seen in the years past, especially in 2019, when we had what? We were just talking about a freight recession not too long ago.
Oh, yeah.
Now here we are on the other side of the coin.
Yeah. Well, we have short memories. We're American.
Exactly. It can never happen again.
It is what it is. Excellent. You threw me a curveball with no flatbed tender rejection.
I gotta switch it up
today,
every
but-
once in a while.
Yeah, you got to throw it to me there, but it was excellent. Thank you so much, Anthony. We'll catch up with you a little bit later.